Okay, so we got that one guy. He wants to talk about portfolios a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Well, for starters, how current should a piece be for a portfolio? Is 2 to 3 years too old? And he's specifically asking about boards or character and concept. So he's just wondering, like, how up to date should your portfolio be? I guess.
I would say just real quickly, if it's the best representation of your work, it's fine.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer this question because I have the most unorthodox kind of portfolio. Like, I just put animatics on a Google Drive doc and just email it to people when they say, like, we need to see your samples. But I think it's important to, like Brian said, if you have something that's 2 to 3 years old and that's like the illest thing you've done, that's fine, right? If everyone unanimously agrees, like, this is dope, it's totally fine. But you have to cater your portfolio to exactly the job specification. So there's no point in putting character design. You can't be like, oh, I want to be a board artist and put character concept. Like, they don't care for that. Like, just make it boards. Like I said earlier, like, if the genius of these kids doing things with TikTok under 17 seconds, board something that's 17 seconds. There's my homie Ife, he just boards little action vignettes. Like, here's this character running and dodging cars, 17 seconds tops. It's amazing. Like, just think of, like, what story can I tell in 17 seconds? And if you can tell that well, that's going to be, like, amazing to any director or future employer. So just, put your best work in there, but don't be afraid to put new things in there also.
Yeah.
And
I'd back that up because, like, you don't also want to put in work that makes you look bad. So if you're not strong at character and design and you're trying to do character and design, but you're better at board or animation, take out your character and design stuff. Like, even if like that sequence has amazing like rhythm and structure and board and composition, but your characters aren't all there, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hire this person as a designer, but like that action sequence was fucking fantastic.
But also,
Anyway,
you never know what job you might get kicked to based on the good stuff in your portfolio that may not be for the original job you're trying to get too. So if someone says, I don't know about this as a guy as a character designer, but look at all this other stuff. I know a production that is looking for, and that's how it tends to happen a lot of times out here too. So, and like a resume, I would say definitely tailor your portfolio to the type of job, the style.
Resumes, have multiple resumes.
Yes. So yeah, I'm not going to put all my student film credit on a resume for a specific job. Like, it just won't be pertinent. I'm going to put all the pertinent stuff I've done.
But if you're applying for something that's entertainment related, you might, if your student stuff involved you producing films or shorts.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, is you got to tailor the description on that. But resumes are different from portfolios. So
and then a follow-up to this, he asks, how do you think online portfolios these days and stuff will work out? It will be a while before anyone can do anything in person. So, like, so you were saying you were using Google Drive and you're sending that over. What outlets do you like as artists, Matt and Brian? What do you guys like? Instagram the most? Do you guys like Twitter, DeviantArt? What are you guys using to, like,
get your art out there?
For your followers, I guess.
Brian, do you want to go first?
Sure. I've mainly, I used to use DeviantArt because, like, most of my old stuff is out there, but I've had to send, like, emails of board samples I've done, like PDFs when I'm applying for a job. But the other thing I did, I just made a reel of a lot of my animation work, and I made a couple of YouTube examples of, like, my board animatic work, and that's about all I have at this point. So I just made a couple of videos. More people have more stuff than me, and they present better, but I'm bad at that.
I'm also bad at presenting stuff, because I know people have websites. I don't have a website. Like I said, I just
me neither.
But I think Instagram and Twitter work. Like, there was a period when I was posting that basketball stuff on both Twitter and Instagram, I was getting hit up by different people. And there was a lot of success that came from that. but just make sure if you make work, it's easily accessible. And I know there's a Twitter conversation where people were like, well, I don't have followers and blah, blah. It's like, I have a lot of friends in animation that are either new to Twitter or not on Twitter at all, but they're really good, you know, whatever thing they've done that's really good, the industry knows about it and they know about that person. So just make sure you do good work and make sure it's easily accessible for right now. But once you get in the door, you don't have to really worry about too hard about like, oh, I gotta update my website or this or that. Just like
word of mouth and you working, then people's like, oh no, Matthew's good. We can hire Matthew.
As a good worker, and they know you will get recommended for jobs. It's all about getting in the door first. And to that end, I would say managing your personal brand and catering your personal brand prior towards getting in the door is quite important, and learning how to play up your strengths. Like, if you have the best approach I've seen is have the Instagram. It's very easy to make a personal website now. There are templates on WordPress, templates for art portfolios, etc., that you can do for free on WordPress, or you can pay a small fee to have it link with your name, having a website where you can just update it easily with your work. And then on top of that, having the social media outreach with an Instagram dedicated to your art. And then on top of that, if you really want to go the extra mile and get it out there, watermark it and start submitting it to some of the mini art subreddits out there. Join Discord communities, get to know people, post your art, make sure it doesn't get stolen by some major clothing company, sure, but definitely three-pronged social media outreach approach can be done, but you don't want to seem like you're desperate. That's the main thing. You want to smoke and air that you've already got this, you have commission, but that's for the overall social media.
Yeah, like what you just said. Yeah, what you just said, Eva, was super important, because Matthew and I are established, so we've been around for a while. It'd be really hard for someone to take our stuff when we put it up, because anyone one of my first experience working when I was at Mike Young, my first director Jeff, he was looking through my portfolio and he told me a story about he was going through someone else's portfolio and saw one of his friends who he worked with, one of his works in this other person's portfolio. Yeah, exactly. And he was like, and he was like, oh yeah, sure, cool. Yeah, they went with the interview, same as always. And then when that person left, he was like, yeah, that guy's a fraud. Don't hire him. So
and that word will get around. So
definitely, and the industry's small enough for work more often than not. It's like, oh, I know that person's work. So when you get ripped off when you're not that well known, that's why it's important, like you said, to put watermark on stuff while you're up.
Just make sure there's a paper trail that it's yours, because even companies like Urban Outfitters has been known to take
Shopko does it. All of
Target does it, major chains, because they would, as young artists, they know we're all broke. They know we don't have the resources or a personal lawyer or an army of personal lawyers we can hire to defend our creative property. But the best thing you can do is just have follow-up work so that there is an established art style. Also, for animation portfolios, showing that you can do a varied amount of art styles, I've heard, is good.
It'll help you get work if that's the goal, is to land a job.
Yeah.
The other reason it's important to also put your work out there, because if you're also known online, even if someone does rip off your work, because it happens. I've had one of my pieces ripped off as well. It's that once your work gets ripped off, someone else online will be like, hey, I know whose work that is, and they'll contact you sometimes. They'll be like, hey, is that...
Yeah.
Creating enough visibility for yourself is also a protection. It's a double-edged sword, because not only you're more likely to have one of your pieces ripped off, but also you're more likely to be protected because people will know your stuff.
Exactly. And there are, people are getting more diligent, I've noticed, on places like, because of this phenomenon of those karma accounts or those follower bots who will just take and repost the artists' work without their consent. Now there seems to be more, among just regular people, a trend of being like, hey, credit your original artist, and a link to their work in the comments. So those vigilantes out there are very helpful to have in your.
So we have two more questions. What project do you wish that you could have worked on, present or past, that you did not?
Is this for me or both of you and Brian?
It's for you, Matt.
One, I would say, like at WB, I know I really want to do Batman Hush, and I was doing Young Justice, so I wasn't able to do Hush. I was kind of bummed out about it. So I guess that kind of answers the present. In past, I would have loved to done X-Men in the animated series. Like I would love to just like go back in time. I did talk to Larry Houston at like LA Comic-Con, and I was like, dude, I want to bring the show back. Like, and they do too, you know. Like,
I just posted that the other day. I was like, man, they should really just redo the show.
Just redo it. Like, I think it's all there. Just like streamline animation. Like, the stories are still there, and the stories are still relevant.
Apparently, it's someone at Disney's considering it, so might see it.
The thing rebooted constantly.
When I was at Mike Young a few years back, we actually had Will Smith and his now, I guess, I don't know if it's his ex-wife now or whatever, but they both toured the studio. They were looking at the studio to buy it because they had made Jaden Smith, right? That he had he had his own little animated series. So it was right around the time they were shopping around to get that made, and so they were just looking around to buy a studio.
Shopping around for a studio for your kids.
Yeah.
I love every part of that sentence where you're just like, is he still married to Jada? Also, by the way,
I thought they had an open relationship.
Might as well. I mean, it might as well use your resources. But wow, studio for your kids.
Who does that? Come on, honey, let's go see if we can buy an animation.
I mean, they're stupid rich.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like a whoa.
You know. Oh god. But that was the question, right? Past or present?
Yeah, past or present. I think that's a good answer. And then Eric Paint brought one of our regulars. These are both our regulars. That one guy and Eric Paint are both our regulars.
Oh,
cool. Eric is asking, what was it like during the time between jobs? So, the good, the bad, just
that's
those
a good question.
2-3 month breaks.
The first time around was hard because you're just like, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, I just showed up and, I got kicked out. And so you're just like trying to wrap your head around that. And it fucking sucks. But then after you return to the studio a second time, you're like, oh, okay, so it's not that bad. So you just start looking at these breaks, as just time to like kind of handle your own business, do whatever you got to do. But then I got to, I knew I had a break between Batman vs. TMNT to Young Justice, and I just spent that time playing, Breath of the Wild, because somebody was like, you're not gonna get that time, you're not gonna get that time where you're just relaxing doing nothing, because as soon as you jump on these high profile projects, it's just kind of like, it's just a lot of work, like
spirals.
It's exactly. And so
you're gonna be so exhausted by the end of the day that I know when we would be working on super intense shows, we could not even watch, as much as we loved Game of Thrones at the time, and as much as we loved, some of the heavier drama shows in our repertoire, narratively amazing ones, we just could not handle the energy of watching anything that wasn't mindless background noise.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I love the plot's great, but I just can't think of it, and I just want to eat dinner and go to bed.
Yeah.
But now your personal projects, I imagine that you must be looking forward to get some time to work on something and doing something. Do you have anything? Do you have a break scheduled up in the upcoming future, or are you just you're like, I don't know where I'm gonna get free. They have me locked in a basement. Save me. Blink if you
I don't know, and so I would love, I would love a break. but that's not what's going down. And you know what sucks is like Comic-Con is normally the break period for me, for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
So I mean, last year I spent way more time in my hotel room than anything, just sleeping. And then I'd go out to go like, you know, hang out with everybody. I go to like one panel, go get pancakes from Richard Walker's Pancake House, and then go to sleep in my hotel room. But like Comic-Con was normally the break to like reset, and we didn't get that this year, for obvious reasons. And so I can't wait to just like, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do in a break, but but to the point of what I want to say is like, hey, if you're ever in a point where you just got hired in animation and you got let go from your job, like, don't take it personal. You just gotta look at it at this point. It's like, all right, this is my level up, right? Like this is the point where I level up, because you know,
It's
when I yeah, the first one's gonna be tough, and then once you get over it and realize how tough, once you get over it, you're like, it's never gonna be that tough ever again, and you just have to like know, like, man, I just gotta be undeniable, and you just gotta do what you can, and I think, you know, it's gonna take a while, you know, so it's a marathon, right? So like, worry about your pace, don't worry about everyone else's, don't worry about the person in front or behind, like, worry about your pace, and that's it. You should only be concerned with you. You're only competing against yourself. And I say this because my brother just completed his second marathon. You know what I'm saying? Like, but so just like that's where you have
metaphors on deck.
You know, and so like, just take that time off to level up. You know, I'm gonna take time off if I get a chance to take time off, just to relax, and then delve into my stuff. Like, you know, like, but yeah, like it's gonna be tough, but it's not personal. It's just business. Like I've been laid off. You know, I've been laid off by Titmouse. And they're still contacting me. I've been laid off by WB like 4 times, and I still work for them. You know, like it's not the end. You know, it's just like, yo, you're just not working out right now. It doesn't mean you're not gonna work out with them forever.
Yeah, different shows, different styles, different people, different producers, different.
And you never know if someone high up is going to come on and they'll really have someone they really want to hire in mind, and it just is what it is. You're not that one person. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, okay, well, nice seeing ya.
Yeah.
Good luck. Because the project's needs have to come first.
Yeah.
They do, and you know, but priorities. Like if you get time to slack off, take it, because this industry will not give you much of it when you're on.
Right.
And that was the last of our questions. Thanks for being on the show today with us. Normally we end with a little bit of Brian's words of wisdom. We've had,
Brian,
I feel like this has been a great episode. So Brian, if you have anything more, if you can possibly pull, in like.
Sure. I mean, like
nothing. You're like, I got this. Sure, step out the way. Here's some
I'm just trying to think based on like Matthew's story. It's interesting because like you sought the dedication pretty early on in like high school and college, and like I mean you met like Jay Oliva, who's a legend, pretty early on, and like I took his class much later when I was already a professional, like working at in 2009.
Yeah.
But like it's one of those things where you did game testing for a bit. Yeah, and like even if you're doing other things, you always I figure, I think we talked about this last week, if you correct me, Nick, that following your passion is often like your best course of action. So if you're passionate about animation, learn the steps, learn who you need to talk to, just do it. Like last week, Shakira was talking about she was writing her whole life, and had help. Like with Matthew, no one had to tell you to draw; you just drew.
Yeah.
So if you're already doing the thing, you will get better at it. And if you're doing the thing, share it with people and like feedback, listen to feedback, talk to people who also do the thing you want to do, and they'll reach back at you because they'll super help you.
I have a follow-up to that, if you don't mind, just an add-on. Just that, because my whole life, from the age of 10, earlier than 10, I wanted to do live-action filmmaking, and my whole life, I had to set up my whole career path perfectly. I was an overachiever in college for it. I was like, ready, set, go as soon as I moved to LA, and then my back gave out. and I couldn't work on film sets anymore. And I had to then, you know, be flexible. I ended up taking a production job, and I fell in love with animation. And it turns out that my passion, the core of my passion, is wanting to be a good storyteller. And that thankfully translates to many different media. So sometimes if a life throws you a curveball and it's not exactly how you dreamed it would be, like, give it some time, feel it out, and you never know. Like, as long as you feel like you're moving towards a good, happier life, as long as things are, you know, moving in a positive direction in general in your personal life and, you know, just the rest of the world, because it's not just your career, then good. That's the main thing. It's like, you be flexible enough for curveballs may happen. It doesn't mean that it's all. Because I just think a lot of viewers, a lot of aspiring people are very young. They're, you know.
Yeah, but they don't know what those curveballs are yet.
They don't know what a back hurt means. So
right. Are like losing your wrist or like getting a tumor.
Exactly.
These are all things life's gonna throw at us.
I literally fell off of a ladder onto a pile of broken glass on a set once, and was like, I might be carrying things wrong. But by then I had already fallen off of a ladder onto broken glass.
Yeah. But even part of that, you didn't let any of that deter you. You simply said, like, well, I can't do that anymore, but I can do other things.
I can still.
You had multiple facets and interests.
Yeah, and diversifying your mental portfolio is good too.
Yes.
You know, I never would have thought of, you know, transitioning in the way I did, but the passion finds you. You're keeping it and your ear to the ground and your eyes open for opportunities. It'll be, you know, you'll catch something.
And
you dreamed, but it could lead there eventually.
Should I do the intro again, or are we good to go?
No.
Great.
Oh, there we go. Let's go.
So there was an intro, and then there was about 45 seconds to a minute of awkwardness. That will serve as our musical intro today, just us rambling about nothing. And now, here we are.